All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race 1 at the Algarve. Adam Barker and Wessel Stevens have the front row. Nick Sorensen, Grant Miller on the second row. Simon Zierk, Rudolph Gunther on the third row. Suleiman Khan, Andrew Lau, the fourth row. Jordan Butler, Mike Marshall rounding out the top 10. Stuart Hare starts in 11th next to Jason Leonard in 12th. Jonas Frischnecht in 13th. Harry Volsmer in 14th. Roman Berg starting in 15th. Stefano Carmassi in 16th. Ryan Anderson, Doug Miller, and Ted Seidel round out the 19-car field. These fields continuing to get bigger and bigger every week. And folks, don't forget, you can always join GT3 NSS. Regardless of skill level, these guys will help you get better every week. Everybody getting lined up on the start-finish line. All right, looks like everybody is on the grid about to start rolling. Looks like we will have a full pace lap here this morning, led by the Porsche pace car. Looks like the guys on the front row really trying to get some heat into those tires on the Mustangs. Those Mustangs just have no grip. A lot of the drivers say they are a lot better this season than they have been in previous seasons, but we do suspect they're lying. Everybody getting back together, getting stacked up. A lot of rookies, as we mentioned today. A lot of new drivers have been joining this season. The group continues to grow and continues to put on some epic racing. And folks, don't forget, if you missed any of this season's race, you can find them on our YouTube channel, along with all the race highlights and a lot of YouTube shorts to keep you entertained with the snow keeping you in. This track does have quite a bit of elevation change over its 15 turns. As mentioned, just about 2.9 miles around this track. And a lot of those transitions up and downhill coming into and out of turns definitely going to unsettle some cars, send them spinning. A good mix of tight turns and fast turns going to make things exciting here. A lot of places to attack. But a lot of places a driver could overshoot or make a mistake. All right, Adam Barker in control. He can fire as soon as the pace car hits pit road. Here they come out of the final turn onto that long front straightaway. Pace car starts inching in. The pace car is in. They have fired and are away. The green flag flies at the Algarve. Adam shoots it down into turn one as they spread out behind. Wow. They back out to 2 wide. It looks like they did have a 3 wide coming through turn one. Toward the back, everybody's still battling side by side. Looked like one car had a bit of a blink on. Jordan Butler and the Lightning McQueen Ferrari this morning may give him an unfair advantage. Simon Zierk and the lone BMW on the attack. Simon battling with rookie Grant Miller, but Grant pulls ahead out of the turn as they battle for 5th. Meanwhile, the top 4 have gotten away. And it looks like Rudolph Gunther is showing a black flag at the moment. Rudolph currently sits in 3rd, not sure what the flag is for. As Doug Miller and Jonas have both had problems back behind. Out of the final turn, and Rudolph is coming in to serve his penalty as Adam Barker leads lap 1. Harry Volsmir is also in. And we've got a battle for the lead. Here comes Wessel. Wessel gets the inside line. And Wessel takes the lead for the first time this morning. And let's see if we can look at a couple of the early incidents, starting with Jonas. There's Jonas coming down, just loses the back end. Does get it recovered, keeps going. Then a moment later, Doug Miller, not far behind, coming down the hill, just loses the back end into the wall. And then just a moment ago, Stuart Hare battling with Roman Berg. Goes a little wide and gets a little bit of a love tap, goes around. Well, lap 1, definitely exciting. Wessel just set the fastest lap as he pulls away from Adam. Points leader Nick Sorensen in 3rd. Nick needs a good run here this morning to make up for last week. He definitely had a rough one then. Rookie Grant Miller currently in 4th. Andrew Lau now in 5th. Jordan Butler in 6th. Simon has slipped back into 7th. Mike Marshall, the lone Mercedes, currently in 8th. Roman Berg up 6 spots into 9th. Roman on the move. Suleiman Khan currently runs in 10th. Ryan Anderson in 11th. Jason Leonard in 12th. Stuart Hare in 13th. Stefano Carmassi, the other rookie here this morning, back in 14th. Jonas in 15th after the early incident. Ted Seidel currently in 16th. Rudolph, after serving his penalty, back to 17th. Harry up to 18th. And Doug Miller in 19th. Wessel trying to open up a gap down the front straightaway. As it looks like Jonas has had a problem behind. There's Jonas once again coming out of the turn down the hill. That elevation change gets the car light. He backs it into the wall. And the car does take some damage. And just a moment ago, Ryan Anderson headed down into turn 1. Hits the sausage and just sends it sideways. Close call for Stuart Hare. Nick Sorensen in 3rd just set the fastest lap so far. Well, we mentioned it a moment ago, but a variety of cars this morning. 2 Fords at the front, followed by a Porsche, a McLaren, a Lambo, a BMW, a Ferrari, and a Mercedes. Wessel still has the lead, but Sorensen closes in on the top 2. We know the old Porsche used to have a problem with straight line speed, but that has not been the case with this new one this season. And it still has that great cornering, allowing it to get closer in the tight turns. Grant Miller in 4th, still has Andrew Lau with him in 5th. Simon Zierk now in 6th, trying to close back in. Mike Marshall in 8th, closing in on Jordan Butler in 7th. Roman Berg up 6 spots into 9th. He is closing in on the 2 cars ahead as well. Just under a second behind that battle. The lap car of Jonas looks like he has come to pit road. Got the car repaired. He is back out, but now a lap down in 19th. Meanwhile, the top 3 within about a second of each other. Wessel out front. But Nick Sorensen in the Porsche has caught up to Adam Barker. Picking up that slipstream down the long front straightaway allows him to close in. And into that tight first turn, that Porsche definitely a bit faster. Simon Zierk in 6th, trying to close in on Andrew Lau in 5th. As Roman Berg on the attack, had the run on the inside of Mike Marshall, couldn't complete it on the way out. Goes a little bit wide, trying to carry some momentum. That is allowing Suleiman Cohen back in 10th to close in on both of them as they battle. Meanwhile, Sorensen in the Porsche and Adam Barker have caught up to Wessel. The top three pretty much nose to tail. As we've seen so far, the elevation changes definitely throwing some of the cars for a loop. We've seen it in the last couple of weeks. Big elevation changes makes the car light. They lose quite a bit of grip. We saw a lot of that at Sachsenring 2 weeks ago. It has been a wild and eventful season. Nick Sorensen started out in dominant fashion. He had won at least one race every week up until Daytona last week, where he had major problems allowing Ellis to close that gap in. Unfortunately, Ellis not here this morning. If Sorensen has a couple of good finishes, will extend his points lead. And right now, Sorensen sits in third. Jordan Butler still right behind Simon Zier, just a half second between them. Roman was gaining on him, but has lost a little bit of ground. Roman currently sits in 8th. And Simon Zier just picked up a slowdown. That's going to be a huge problem for him. Jordan is right there. Simon trying to burn that slowdown off. He does get it burned off, and manages to hold on to the position. And speaking of holding on, Wessel holds on for the moment to the lead. Sorensen on the attack, trying to take second from Barker. Mike Marshall has slipped back into 9th. Now has 10th place Suleiman Cohen right on his bumper. And Jonas has had a problem back behind. Jonas turning down the hill and just loses the back end. Slides it off into the grass, but he does get it recovered. Simon just picked up another slowdown and Jordan slips by. Jordan Butler now up into 6th. Andrew Lau in fifth, about 10 seconds ahead. Still right with Grant Miller. Hey, good morning, Animal. How are you? Have fun, buddy. Wessel's starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Adam Barker. Nick Sorensen in third. Stefan Carmasi has had a problem. He is going to pit road. There's Stefan, and wow. He had some sort of a glitch with the front end, and it sent him into the inside fence. Definitely an odd situation there. Stefan was blinking a little bit earlier on, might have something to do with it. Meanwhile, the top three back nose to tail. They continue to pull away from the fourth place battle, now 6 seconds behind. Lau still right on the bumper of Grant Miller in the McLaren. Lau in the new Lambo. New paint scheme for it this morning. Top three at the moment, fairly evenly matched. Field likely has 2 more laps to go here. These guys got to make their move now. Sorensen did just set the fastest lap, 142.09. Simon Zier trying to reclaim 6th place from Jordan. And now they have Roman Berg in the fight. Another 3-car battle in the middle of the pack. Jordan a little bit wide, no slowdown though. Simon holds on to it for the moment. But now here comes Roman. He's got to run to the inside. Jordan holds on to, oh! Jordan and Simon get together. Roman avoids it. Roman Berg now to 6th. Mike Marshall slips by Roman. All right, let's take another look at that. Watching this from the chopper, these three have been going at it for about a lap. Jordan gets to the inside. Simon didn't realize he was there, comes down. Trying to protect the apex, but ends up in the dirt. And that definitely shook up the running order mid-pack. Right now that puts Roman Berg in 7th. If he holds on to it, he will start in on the pole for race 2. Jason Leonard back in 13th. Wessel still holding on to the lead with Adam in second, Sorensen in third. Will we see an attack late in this one? Nick had been peaking on Adam quite a bit. Adam has had the better run out of the turn a couple of times on Wessel. Wessel has the lead coming into the final turn. And out of the final turn, Wessel's going to hold on to it. Wessel Stevens wins race 1 at the Algarve. Adam Barker coming home in second. Wow! Wessel got yeeted. All right, let's get a word with our top 3 before we go into race 2. Starting with 3rd place, Nick Sorensen. Nick, you come home in 3rd, but man, I saw you looking several times on Adam, just not enough of a run.
Yeah, he was doing great on the corner exits. Couldn't quite get the run on him. Being the first race, though, I'm happy with it, finishing P3.
After last week, a podium finish has got to feel good. That was a rough Daytona, but you're definitely making a comeback today.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You know, just had a bad week last week, so I got to make the best of it without putting myself in the same bad situations today.
I have to ask, speaking of bad situations, how worried were you sitting behind 2 Fords? You never know when they'll spontaneously combust or take out the fans.
No, I mean, I was hoping they would take each other out. That way I just cruise to the win.
Well, hopefully in race 2, buddy.
Thanks.
Adam Barker coming home in 2nd. Adam, you managed to come home in 2nd. Quite a battle between the top 3 all race long.
Yeah, crazy race there. So I got a really good qualifying. I'm not quite sure where I pulled that out, but Doug's quality used Ford Autos really set me up well with the qualifying, and then Wessel managed to get in front of me, and then I just followed him the entire way, trying to hassle him into a mistake. And Nick was right there with us as well. So very stressful race, looking ahead and behind at the same time. So the last lap was definitely holding my breath, looking behind, making sure I'm not leaving anything open, but also trying to get ahead of a Wessel. But yeah, he did a really good job. Did just enough to keep ahead.
Well, definitely a turnaround. You've had a rough start to the season, but man, a great job this morning. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you very much. Really struggled with the races. So hopefully we can get another good race here. We did well in and I think we did well in the second race last week. So hopefully the luck's changing for us, and we can do some good results from now on.
All right, good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
And finally, our winner, Wessel Stevens. Wessel, you're back in victory lane. You had to work for that one.
Yeah, it was a good tight race. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. It's a track that you cannot really overtake on, I think, in a really... Okay, you can, of course, but not. It's not an overtaking track. But yeah, very happy.
Well, now you've got to come from 7th to get up through the field and get back to victory lane. Can you get it done here with it being difficult to pass in some places?
Oh, I have no idea. Like, we will see. I will try my best.
Well, good luck and congratulations, buddy.
Thank you very much, man.
Wessel Stevens back in victory lane, but now he'll start from 7th as the top 7 inverts. I do believe that's going to put Roman Berg on the pole. A lot of drivers out on track during the warm-up, making final adjustments. And a few of them getting practice, getting onto pit road. Not the hardest pit road out there, but great job by, oh! Ted Seidel had a bit of a problem. There's Ted coming down the hill. Looked like he just missed his, no, looked like he never lifted. Hits a Ford, the brakes went out. Several drivers sitting on pit road, but haven't came out yet. Just over a minute left to go in warm-up. Then the top 7 invert. We go into race 2. With that invert, man, the battles do tend to tighten up, and turn 1 does have a tendency to get a bit more exciting. And we saw him 3 wide into turn 1 in race 1. Can only imagine what race 2 will bring. Wessel practicing his pit road entry. That yellow cone is where they have to be down to pit road speed. Coming up that hill a little bit onto pit road should help. Everybody making final adjustments. Their team's cramming as much fuel as possible into the car. Remember, they will have to make 1 pit stop for fuel. We'll see how many take tires this morning, but buckle up. It is time for race 2 at the Algarve. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race 2, the top 7 invert. Simon Zierk, Mike Marshall on the front row. Andrew Lau, Grant Miller of the second row. Nick Sorensen, Adam Barker on the third row. Wessel Stevens starts in 7th after winning race 1. Roman Berg in 8th. Stuart Hare, Suleiman Khan round out the top 10. Jordan Butler starting in 11th next to Rudolph Gunther in 12th. Harry Volsmir in 13th. Ryan Anderson 14th. Jason Leonard. Ted Seidel 15th and 16th. Doug Miller, Jonas Frischknecht, and Stefano Carmasi round out the field. And it looks like Doug Miller, Jonas Frischknecht, and Stefano Carmasi will not grid for race 2. Mike Marshall in control on the restart. Will that Mercedes power down the front stretch give him an advantage? And don't forget, folks, 9:30 Eastern tonight, SMRX Series is back. They are flat tracking tonight and New Hampshire. '40-car field in New Hampshire on a flat track. Things are going to get interesting. Horse pace car leads them around. This track definitely has some blind turns with the elevation changes. Some of these turns you just come into, you can't see them. And if there's a problem ahead, you could run into a bit of chaos. Everybody headed toward the final turns. They'll start to pack back up. All right, toward that final turn, remember Simon can fire as soon as the pace car hits pit road. Mike Marshall in the Mercedes on the outside may have the advantage here on the restart. All right, pace car heads to pit road. And here they come. Simon fires there away. The green flag flies at the Algarve. And Simon gets a good run down toward turn one. The field a little bit more spread. Oh, we've got one around. Grant Miller, the car around there in turn one, did recover. We've got another mess. Jordan Butler, Wessel Stevens both having problems. Simon Zierk still has the lead. Andrew Lau now into second. Mike Marshall in third. Sorensen up to fourth now. And a ball, we've got one going around. It's Harry Volsmere. Simon out front, but he has Lau right there on him. Mike Marshall sitting in third, but Nick Sorensen closing in. Headed toward that high-speed final turn. Simon still out front. Andrew taking a wide line as they head up the hill, but Simon is going to lead lap one. And let's see if we can look at some of those early incidents. All right, looking down from the chopper at Grant Miller. Adam Barker gets right to his bumper. They go 3 wide. Grant just gets a little tap mid-turn. Gets it squared away quickly, though. And a few moments later, Jordan Butler. There's Wessel around just ahead. Jordan was trying to avoid him, but gets the grass, ends up in the wall. There's Wessel as he comes through the turn, just on the power early, goes around. Looks like Harry got into him. Then just a few moments later, Harry back behind on the power, just loses it into the grass. Simon Ziert continues to lead. Adam Barker has just set the fastest lap of race 2. The top 5 all still within about 2 seconds. Rudolph Gunther in 6th, Roman Berg in 7th, both closing in as well. And Suleiman Khan has had a problem behind. There's Suleiman coming off into turn 1. Just loses it out of turn 1 into the grass, but he does get it stopped, turned around, and pointed the right way again. And a bit of a battle going on back behind. Mike Marshall in 3rd as Nick Sorensen and Adam Barker both on the attack. Sorensen to the inside. Mike Marshall trying to use that Mercedes power out of the turn, and it's paying off. He may clear him. Nick goes deep into the final turn, and we're going to have a drag race down the front stretch. Mike holding on to 3rd, but Nick has the inside line. Sorensen now to 3rd, Barker to 4th. And Grant Miller just set the fastest lap so far. 1:43.09. Andrew Loud now up in the lead, pulling away from Simon. As Rudolph looks to the inside, and Rudolph Gunther to 5th. Grant Miller closing in on Roman Berg's back bumper. Andrew Lau starting to open up a gap. Wessel Stevens is going to pit road. He has had a problem. Wessel had been in, got the car repaired after the early incident. Just missed the turn and pulled over. Andrew Lau continues to lead for the moment. Andrew has only been 2 races so far this season. He was there for Imola, and back at Daytona has not been to victory lane yet. As Jordan Butler has had a problem and gone to pit road. There's Jordan down at the bottom of the hill, makes the turn, heads back up. And he also just pulls over. Nick Sorensen now right on the bumper of Simon Zierk, Adam Barker, Rudolph Gunther, not far behind, but Harry Volsmere just set the first lap in race 2 under the 143 mark, 142.74. Harry had that early problem. We've seen this before out of Harry. Early problem, he goes on the attack. And anything is possible when Harry's driving angry. Hey, good morning, Cyper. And Suleiman Khan has had a problem back behind as the top 5 tighten up. There's Suleiman back behind. Heads off into the turn and the back end just steps out on him. The top 5 now all nose to tail, led around by Andrew Lau. And we talked about how tricky some of these turns are. Let's dial up Rudolph Gunther's onboard camera as he comes out of the final turn and up the front straightaway. Heading off toward turn 1, you see Sorensen setting up on Simon. Through turn 1, closes right to Adam's back bumper. In that tight, almost hairpin turn, up the hill left-hander. Back downhill into another left-hand turn and some very, very tight turns through here. Back on the power through a little bit of the kink, down into an almost blind turn. Over the hill, back down. You see how much the elevation is changing. And that can really throw the car's balance off when you're doing it fast. Into the tight left-hander, back on the power. Trying to set up to the inside on Adam, right up to Adam's bumper. Out of the penultimate turn, heads toward that sweeping final turn. And back on the power for the long front straightaway. Rudolph did that lap at a 1:43.52 as Adam sets up on Simon. Adam trying to pull ahead. We've seen this earlier on in race 1. Simon able to hold everybody off, but not this time. Adam Barker now into third. Simon to fourth. Rudolph Gunther to the inside. Wow, Rudolph was briefly to the inside on Adam as well. Rudolph Gunther now to fourth as Nick Sorensen is taking the lead. Andrew Lau still holding on to second. Now Barker into third. Rudolph in fourth. Simon in fifth. And don't look now, Roman Berg in sixth. And Harry Volsmir just set the fastest lap again and is up to ninth, closing in on Mike Marshall. It is worth noting, Harry about 10 seconds behind the leader, Nick Sorensen. He is closing in with 36 minutes to go. I wouldn't count him out. Sorensen has a 1 1/4 second lead on Andrew. Adam in third, Rudolph in fourth, Simon in fifth, but Roman is right there, and Grant Miller is closing in now. A great charge back by Grant after that turn 1 incident sent him way, way back. He has fought his way back up into this lead group. Meanwhile, Sorensen continuing to pull away. His lead now 1.7 seconds over Lau. Adam Barker sitting in third, Rudolph in fourth. Roman now right to Simon's bumper. And Harry Volsmir has just taken 8th place from Mike Marshall. Grant Miller still lurking about 1 1/4 seconds behind Roman. And Harry Volsmir just about 4 seconds behind Grant at the moment, but he is closing rapidly. Nick Sorensen just set the fastest lap of race 2, 1:42.09. And Grant Miller has had a problem. All right, there's Grant. He had gone right to Roman's bumper. Oh, but on exit, goes around. Harry slips by, so does Mike Marshall. And what a heartbreak for Grant. He has been on the attack, made up a lot of ground already. Harry Volsmir now into 7th. Lost a little time coming past Grant. About 4.25 seconds behind Roman at the moment. Meanwhile, Adam Barker has caught up to Andrew Lau in 2nd. As Sorensen's lead continues to grow. Nick now leads by 2.7 seconds. Roman Berg still sitting on Simon's back bumper. Harry Volsmir closing in, now just 3.8 seconds back. And Harry, at the moment, is the fastest car on track. However, Grant Miller back in 9th, a close 2nd, as he closes the gap on Mike Marshall in 8th. Nick Sorensen extends his lead to 3 seconds over Lau. Nick just continuing to check out. Remember, just a few minutes shy of halfway. At some point, they do have to come in and take on fuel. Nick just out for a Sunday cruise as he continues to pull away. Roman still right on Simon's bumper, a little bit wide into the turn. Roman hasn't been able to make a move yet on Simon. At the moment, Andrew Lau in 2nd, holding Adam Barker off as well. And Harry Volsmir continues to charge. He's now just 2.25 seconds behind Roman. And Harry definitely does know how to make a comeback. Sorensen continuing to extend his lead, now 3.5 seconds over this battle for 2nd. Rudolf Gunther is closing back in on that battle for 2nd as well. Roman still right on Simon's bumper as Harry continues to get closer. At the moment, Nick Sorensen is faster than Harry Volsmir, but, man, not by much. He definitely needs to keep the pace up, though, or else Harry will find him. Most of the field starting to settle into a rhythm. Harry hasn't. He's just getting faster. Now just 1.7 seconds behind Roman. And Grant Miller also on the move. Grant just 5.5 seconds behind Harry at the moment and closing. Roman looked to the inside but couldn't get the run into turn one. But that did bring Harry even closer, now just 1.5 seconds back. Adams peeking to the inside on Lau, can't get there. But it was enough to bring Rudolf Gunther even closer. And Harry has caught up to Roman Berg. Less than a second behind. Man, what a charge by Harry. Nick's lead now 6 seconds over Andrew Lau. It just keeps growing. Meanwhile, Harry's starting to look to the inside on Roman. Harry in the slipstream as they come down the front stretch. Getting closer to Roman. He'll set up into turn one. Didn't have enough of a run into the turn. Roman trying to protect that inside line. I don't know that it'll matter. Meanwhile, Nick Sorensen just set the fastest lap. 142.07. Here goes Harry to the inside. Roman trying to cross over but doesn't have the momentum. Harry now into 6th and sets his sights on 5th place, Simon Zierk. Sorensen, meanwhile, set a 142.07 last time by. His lead now 7.25 seconds over Lau and Barker. Rudolf Gunther now in that fight as well. But Harry now in 6th, looking for a way around Simon. Up onto the front straightaway, here they come. Ted Seidel has had a problem behind. Harry can't get the run into turn one, but it's only a matter of time. Let's see what happened to Seidel. There's Ted back behind. Oh, looks like he got too much of the rumble strip on the way in, and it just sent him around. And Suleiman Khan has had a problem. There's Suleiman Khan. Into that tight turn, just on the brakes a little too much, and the back end steps out. Suleiman Khan has brought it to pit road, as has Wessel. Wessel still sitting there getting repairs. Suleiman just topping off on fuel as Nick Sorensen goes by. And Harry has found a way past Simon. He's into fifth. And Roman Berg is in. Likely to be fuel only here for most of these drivers. Roman hits his pit stall. The car has not gone up yet. Looks like it'll be fuel only. Harry Volsmir now up into fifth, 4.5 seconds behind Rudolph Gunther, Adam Barker, and Andrew Lau. Nick Sorensen, meanwhile, has extended his lead to 8.25 seconds. Nick has been having one heck of a dominant season so far. This is week 6 of the 12-week season. Next week they'll be at the Bend, followed by Monza, VIR, Mount Panorama, the Nürburgring Grand Prix, and finishing the season at Misano. Rudolph Gunther is in for his stop. It was fuel only. Harry Volsmir now up into fourth due to Rudolph's stop. He is about 5.25 seconds behind Adam, but he is closing. Nick starting to encounter some lap traffic here and there. His lead continues to grow, now almost 9.5 seconds. Ryan Anderson in back behind. Ryan had made his way up to 12th. Continues to march his way forward today as well, but he picks up a black flag on his way in. Suleiman Khan also showing a black flag. Adam Barker, Andrew Lau, Harry Volsmir, Simon Zierk, and Grant Miller all in. Mike Marshall is staying out. He'll move up to second, and Sorensen stays out with the lead. Adam Barker is winning the race off pit road. Harry coming out out behind him. Simon coming out in 6th. Grant Miller's coming out in 7th. Man, Grant has just been on the move despite his early issue, and then a second spin. It has not slowed him down at all. And the leader is in. Nick Sorensen slows down, gets it onto pit road at pit road speed. Jason Leonard has come back in to serve his flag. Andrew Lau is also showing a black flag. He is in. Mike Marshall bringing his car in as well. Nick Sorensen on his way off pit road. He will maintain the lead. Adam Barker in third now as Mike Marshall still holds second. We'll take a look here in a moment at the lineup after pit road. All right, looks like all the pit stops are complete. Nick Sorensen maintains the lead as Rudolph Gunther battles for second, and he'll take it. Adam into third for the moment, but look who's in fourth, Harry Volsmir. Man, what a charge for Harry. Simon Ziert currently in fifth. Grant Miller's comeback has been epic as well. He is now up to sixth, 4.5 seconds behind Simon in closing. Roman Berg holding on to seventh. Mike Marshall in eighth. Stuart Hare quietly going around without a problem in ninth. Ted Seidel at 6 spots into 10th. Jason Leonard up 4 spots into 11th. Suleiman called a rough morning in 12th. And Ryan Anderson in 13th. Andrew Lau still sitting on pit road in 14th. Wessel in 15th. Meanwhile, Nick continues to drive away his lead, 17.1 seconds. And here we go, Harry to the inside. Oh, he gets together, Adams around. And Simon just got 2 spots. And wow. Harry's charge just ended. Let's take another look. All right, looking down from the chopper. Harry starts looking to the inside. He gets the nose in. Adam turns down as Harry pushes out. Harry sits, waits, lets Adam get back ahead of him, and that's the sportsmanship we're used to seeing with NSS. Nick Sorensen, meanwhile, just continues to drive away. His lead now 17.8 seconds over Rudolph. Simon now back up into third. But he'll have to hold off Adam Barker, Harry Volsmir. And folks, don't look now. Grant Miller is the fight. Roman Berg not far behind either, but man, even in fifth, Harry's comeback has been epic. So has Grant Miller's. Both drivers having problems early, getting sent way behind. Neither driver has given up. Both have continued to attack. Adam Barker now trying to fight his way back past Simon. And Adam may have the run here to the inside. Wow, they get close as they come out of the turn. Simon trying to power back. But Adam pulls ahead. Harry takes advantage. Harry almost had him. If that had been a right turn, Harry would have taken it. But Simon able to take advantage through the apex. And now for the first time this morning, Harry has got to watch his mirror because Grant has caught him. Adam Barker now in third, starting to pull away from Simon. Harry and Grant continue to get closer, and don't look now, Roman Berg is coming back into the fight. And Grant was right on Harry's bumper coming through those last couple of turns. I'm trying to think of the last time we saw somebody haunt Harry's rear bumper. Harry usually on the attack moving forward, doesn't have to watch his mirror. He's going to have to watch out for the newcomer going forward. And Simon has to watch out for both of them right now. See if we can watch a little bit of this from the chopper. Simon is wide. Harry slips by. And Grant looking to the outside. Adam has had a problem. Harry now to third. And wow, let's take a look at what just happened with Adam. Adam Barker coming through the turn just on the power a little too soon. A rare mistake from Adam, but it cost him a lot. Simon Zierka's had a problem. Harry is in the grass. Harry has towed it in. And what a shakeup again. Grant Miller also caught up in that. Ted Seidel has had a problem. Let's take a look at all these incidents. All right, there is Ted. Trying to make up some ground late in this on the power. A little too early, goes around. And then there's this battle ahead. There's Grant Miller right behind. Oh, Harry goes wide. Simon slips by. Oh, holy cow. Well, Grant bumped into Harry. Harry returned the favor. And, man, when Harry did, it sent Grant. Wow, it sent Grant right into Simon's bumper. Wow. Usually you don't see that kind of thing in GT3 racing, but wow, that was wild. Simon Zierk, Grant Miller both limped him to pit road. Harry towed it in and I believe is out of the race. And what a heartbreaking end for Harry. He had been on the charge all morning long. The only driver consistently faster than our leader. Had got bumped way behind early on, fought his way back, had made his way all the way up to third until that incident. Well, just note, folks, if you see Harry on track this week, be nice. I'm sure he's a little upset and you saw how fast he is. Nick Sorensen just at the fastest lap of the race. The first lap under the 142 mark, 141.97. Also his lead now 22.5 seconds over Rudolph. And now in third place, the one person that avoided all the chaos, Roman Berg. Adam Barker about 2 seconds back in fourth. He is closing in. Mike Marshall now up into fifth. Stuart Hare up into sixth. Simon in seventh. Grant in eighth. Jason in ninth. Suleiman in 10th. Sadly, Harry Volsmere out of the race in 13th. And I have a hunch the battle for third is not over yet, as 9-time champ Adam Barker just keeps coming back. Now just 1.3 seconds behind Roman. Rudolph Gunther fairly safe in second. He has a 15.5 second gap on Roman and 23.5 seconds behind Sorensen. Adam Barker continuing to close in, now less than a second behind Roman. Now the question is, can Roman hold him off for another 4 minutes? As we've mentioned all season, that new Porsche does not have the straight line slowness that the old one did. So the Mustang just doesn't gain as much ground. It's also worth noting the top three right now, all Porsche. Nick Sorensen, Rudolph Gunther, and Roman Berg. Mike Marshall safely in fifth at the moment, Stewart in sixth. Simon in seventh, now has Grant closing back in. Jason Leonard currently in 9th, Suleiman Cohen in 10th, Ryan Anderson currently in 11th, Ted Seidel in 12th. Not bad at 4 spots for his rookie outing. Biggest mover of the day is now Rudolph Gunther. up 10 spots from where he started. Roman Berg just about 0.6 of a second ahead of Adam. Adam likely picking up a little bit of his slipstream down the front stretch this time. Yep, he definitely did. That gap closed quickly. Roman now has his hands full with the 9-time champ on his bumper. Nick Sorensen's lead continuing to grow, 26.7 seconds. Rudolph Gunther safely in. Well, we've got a battle. Grant Miller now takes 7th from Simon. Simon trying to fight back on the outside. And it looks like Grant will clear and take 7. Roman Berg's going to hold on to it for the moment. Can he hold them off for one more lap? Nick Sorensen, 27.5-second lead over Rudolph. He's got it locked up. Roman just got to slow down. Can he burn it off and hold off Barker? Adam right on his bumper. Adam's going to set up into the inside. And Barker to 3rd. Roman has cleared his slowdown, but does he have enough to get back to 3rd? And here he comes out of the final turn. Nick Sorensen returns to victory lane. He pulls off the win at the Algarve. Rudolph Gunther holds on to 2nd. Adam Barker a few turns away from 3rd with Roman on his bumper. And it looks like Adam is going to hold on. Adam Barker coming home in 3rd. Let's talk to our top 3, starting with Adam. Adam, that was a very close 3rd place.
Crazy race. Nick was just super quick, and was no way to catch up with him. But was having a good race with Andrew, and then made a little mistake with the pit stop. Put some fronts on, and then had to wait like 2 laps for those to warm up, and put me in trouble with Rudolph and Harry. And then all hell broke loose. So I'm not quite sure what happened. We'll have to review that. But yeah. Crazy race. Somehow got back into the podium, so yeah, lucky we got that.
Well, man, it was a good charge back. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Rudolph Gunther coming home in 2nd. Rudolph back on the podium, and man, that was a heck of a run. You got the second and just drove away.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. It was a great race. I love this track. Even 5 or 6 guys have been much faster, but well, when they take themselves out or shit happens, then I'm on the podium.
Oh man, you had one heck of a run this morning and a great finish. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
And finally, back in victory lane, Nick Sorensen. Nick, that was one heck of a dominant drive this morning.
Hey, thanks a lot, Doug.
Man, I don't know what else to say. You got the lead and just took off, and you were gone.
It's just one of those days, man. Everything lined up. Was able to put in some really good, consistent laps. So,
Well, man, you definitely did that. It was a tear this morning, and extending your points lead as well, a big one this morning.
yeah, that was the main goal. Like we said after race 1, was to make sure to get a good result today. And after I was able to move through a few of the places there in the beginning, I just kept on going, and the laps seemed to be really consistent. And yeah, fortunately, it was a big lead at the end.
Well, man, a heck of a job and a heck of a win. Congratulations.
Hey, and for all the fans out there, you got to visit Doug's Used Ford Autos, discount code 40 for your next purchase. So thanks a lot.
How does the new Doug feel about you guys having that Ford dealership, I wonder? All right, folks, don't forget, 9:30 tonight, 9:30 Eastern tonight, the SMRX Series is at New Hampshire, and with that big field, man, things are going to get wild. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope y'all had as much fun as we did. We'll see you tonight. Have a good one, y'all.